All right, good evening, everyone. Township trustee candidates, let's get started. Mr. Reed is not with us, are you? Okay. Then, Mr. Schaus, we will start with you. Same rules apply as everything else. 3 minutes for an opening statement, please.
All right, what a beautiful evening to be in, a democracy that allows this very forum tonight. And thank you for your invitation. I appreciate it. I'm Ron Schaus, and I'm going to be running for your Tate Township Trustee here in November. A little bit about me and my family. I moved my family back here in 1993, my wife Janine, and 2 little tow-headed little boys. And I wanted my boys to have the same childhood that I grew up with. Now, I didn't grow up in Bethel, but I was just across the line in Williamsburg. But I spent most of my childhood in Bethel. I attended Grand Vocational Center, graduated in 1984 with a certificate of construction and carpentry. And yes, I was one of those 80s teenagers that cruised from Frisch's to the dairy bar miles each Friday and Saturday night, wearing my parents' tires out. My free time is spent with the youth of our village and township. I spent 22 years in the scouting program here in Bethel, spending my last 4 years as Scoutmaster for Bethel Troop 196. I've since retired, but still work within the Danbury Council on occasion. I've had the pleasure of coaching several sports teams and sponsorships of many. I've worked in the public service for the last 23 years, as my wife for the last 19 in your local school district. I've been asked many times through this, why do I want to be a township trustee? And my answer is always to give back to the community that has given so much to my family. And to be an asset with my experience in public service and available to our residents 24 hours, 7 days a week to answer any of their questions and concerns. You know, I was brought up where my father taught me about hard work and where a man's word in a handshake is all he needs. And I still live by that scout oath. No matter how old one gets, it's still relevant. I'm fiscally responsible. I oversee $1 million budget. I write up large service contracts, write up requests for quotes and requests for proposals. Also take care of the demolition through my work, as well as grant writing skills. I've been responsible for the monies from the county, city, state, and federal levels through my career. If elected, one of the important things I feel that the township needs to be ready for is a long-range plan. A 5, 10, and even a 20-year plan. We don't know where we're going to be in 20 years, but we need to be ready for it. I may not be around in 20 years, but I want to be a part of that long-range plan. If elected, I will donate a portion of my stipend to my local nonprofits here in the township in Bethel Village, and I will not take the offered free medical insurance. I will continue to pay my own and not put that on the backs of our taxpayers. I'll be available after tonight's forum for any questions. In ending, I thank you for your support. Vote Schaus this November. You won't be disappointed, and I'll work hard for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Yes. Hello, my name is John Wilson. I would like to thank the Clermont County League of Women's Voters for holding this event, and to the voters for blessing me with this opportunity to be here. I was born and raised in Tate Township for 55 years. I'm one of 6 siblings. We all graduated from Bethel-Tate. My wife Sheila and I have 5 children, and they all graduated from Bethel-Tate. 7 of our 20 grandchildren will go to Bethel-Tate. And yes, we do have 20. And I have sponsored and coached Cub Scouts, youth football, baseball, soccer, and wrestling. I've run my business serving Bethel-Tate for 33 years, our community. I have been attending Tate Township Trustee meetings since 2017. Bev Jaquez stepped down from the Zoning Appeals Board in December of 2017. I accepted the position and I've been serving the Appeals Board since then. Greg Burns is now stepping down from the Tate Township Trustees after serving 26 years. And I'd just like to say thank you for your service, Greg. It's greatly appreciated. So with the blessing of the voters, I would like to fill this position as trustee. I'm not here with any grudges, nor do I have an axe to grind. I will work with the town council and other townships and Tate Townships to help Tate Township grow. One thing I've already looked into is I've talked to the organizer of the Mountain Word Music in the Park. He said he approached the village council a few years ago with this idea, and they said no. This is the type of atmosphere that we need in our community. The organizer is still willing to work with Bethel, and he's told me to get in touch with him anytime that we need to. Working with the Garden Club and other local clubs, we can use the existing walking path as a hub around the wagon wheel, like a wagon wheel, and build phases like wagon spokes. By doing it, we'll bring in more residential housing, sit-down restaurants, and other businesses, in which they will help pay for the growth of our township. We've been approved for a sit-down alcohol restaurant. This is what we need. Let's get it in here. I have talked to a builder that is willing to build townhouses in this township. He said that with the expenses that's in the town, he doesn't want to build in there because it's just not financially worth it. So we need to work on that. The town and the township need to work together, not as two separate parties. These are some of the ideas to continue Tate Township growth and to make the market prosper for our desirable family community. And I'd like to thank you.
Thank you. We'll get started on the questions, and we'll start with Mr. Wilson. And since the other two groups of candidates have the same question, we'll start with this one and basically get it out of the way. Do you support mandatory vaccinations?
No, I do not. That should be a freedom of choice. I'll be straight up, I have mine because my wife has autoimmune disease and I own Bantam Tire outside of Bethel. I get around quite a few people every day, and I did not want to take something home to her. So I got mine, but I think it should be a choice 100%, and there should not be anything mandated upon us, and there's other measures that we can take to, like, I keep my distance, I keep my mask on at the shop, and that's the kind of stuff we need to do.
Thank you. Mr. Schaus?
Yeah, I agree with John. There shouldn't be any mandate. It should be a person's decision on their own. Unfortunately, we did get COVID back in February, and shortly afterwards, we got our vaccinations too as well. And that was my choice and my wife's choice. So no, I don't believe a mandate is effective.
All right. Next question, I'm sorry, Mr. Schaus, you'll have this first. What specifically will you do to address the roads throughout our township that are in terrible condition?
Well, I think it goes along with what I said earlier in my opening, the 5, 10, and 20 year to work towards to find out what we need in the township and what is the utmost importance, and put them on the list and see what we can do with the monies we have. Unfortunately, we come back to that local government funding again. Where the township got a lot of money taken away from them. Now I know they are working now to change some of that, but it's very important. The roads for our fire department to be able to have the good roads to get to if somebody's house is on fire or somebody had a heart attack. That's on the top of the list of things infrastructurally that needs to be done and looked at in our township.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Yes. First thing I would like to do on this subject is definitely congratulate it, because if everybody's paying attention, the roads are there's numerous culverts that have been replaced. Roads are being done. They choose one whole complete road. A few years ago it was Happy Hollow Road, then it was Moore Road, and now this year it's Wilson Road. There are improvements to make, yes, but the problem is for the past years of the other street departments, the people who were in charge, they didn't do their job. They were just there to fill a position, and that was it. But as for that, though, there's grants to get out there, and then we piggyback with, like right now on Moore Road, there's a culvert that's being put, and it is considered a bridge because it's 9.5 foot wide. We piggyback with the county and stuff like that. And I say we, but I've been attending the meetings, but they piggyback with them to get the points to be able to get the money to do that, and we need to keep doing stuff like that, because one little tiny town like Bethel will not just be able to take care of all the streets.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wilson, you'll have you're first up for this next question. This is very similar, but it has to do with drainage and sewer issues. How will you tackle some of the drainage issues in the township faces, especially around Airport and Patterson roads?
Again, this is something that the streets have been lack of maintenance for many years. The street department that we have in there right now, they are doing a wonderful job, and I'll be the first one to tell them that. You're not going to get them all taken care of one at a time, but they are sitting there like just when the roads that they have redone, they make a deal with the homeowners that if their culvert pipes are not the proper height and stuff, so they don't drain, so they go in there and make a deal with them where they replace them for them. And I do believe that the price is for like $400 right now for the culvert and the gravel. You can't get it done. A residential can't get it done for that kind of price. It's already being worked on. Like I said, you can't. It's not a magic ball. You're not going to get it done all at one time. And there's a lot of streets here. Open your eyes and pay attention to see what they have done, because it's a lot, and the roads are improving. Do they need more improvement? Yes, but again, it takes time.
Thank you. Mr. Schaus?
And I will agree with John, the roads have looked much better here in recent years on that, but this question is real close to me. I live off Airport, I live on Inez Avenue, and in years past I have tried to contact the trustees to do some work. I'm at the very dead end. I have no drainage, it rains hard. My side yard gets filled up with 2 or 3 inches of water. Stays there for a long time till it gets soaked in through the groundwater, causes mosquitoes. So, that is, with me having that issue and knowing that that area is a low-lying area, we're going to have to figure out lines of, is Airport Road one that needs to get done? We need to go in and find out what the cost is going to be and start chipping away at that, and then go to the next area and the next area. Because like John said, you can't get it all done snap of the finger. But that's real close to me. I understand that issue, and I have the government, the sewers through that they put in the pod system. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schaus, you'll have the next question. If elected, what would you bring to the township?
Well, first of all, I'm going to bring 23 years of public service. I want to bring in the ability to be fiscally responsible. Again, I told you that I've been responsible all the way to federal dollars. I will bring that. I will bring the construction and the carpentry trade. I will bring just the knowledge of our township. And the big thing is, I'm very approachable. I've already put my phone number out there for people that would like to call for questions now. I will always be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for our constituents here in our township. It's important to me. And I'm very approachable, and I will listen to everybody's complaint without malice.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Okay. I've been serving the community for 33 years. I've been self-employed, working in Bethel, and what we need to do, the biggest thing here, I've been to meetings, it's town and township, and I've heard it a few different times. Oh, that's the town, we won't benefit, we're not going to do anything by this. And then the same, it goes both ways. It's not just a township or the town. It's communication. We all need to work together. Yes, you have town, then you have the township. But we are all one community, and we should be working as one community. So I am willing to, I will, if elected trustee, I will be going to these town meetings. I'll be going to other township meetings, hearing what they are doing, and try to improve ours. Because the main thing is communication. It's not there between it, and we are a community. We are here to serve each other. And if we all work together, we all will benefit. Not, oh, that's the town's project, so let them handle it, and that's the township's. If we help the town work on that project, we can keep them.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. We're going to give you the next question, please. You've talked a lot about infrastructure tonight, both of you. There are grants out there. Does the township do enough to secure grants to get some of the infrastructure improved?
In the 4 years that I've been going, because like I said, other than the year of COVID, a wonderful year of not being able to go anywhere, I've attended all the meetings, but I think 5 since 2017. And I will give Mr. Redden back there a pat on the back, be the first one. because he is working on grants. The trustees right now are doing it. There's grants out there to be gotten, and they're doing a great job getting it. You look at the fire department, the fire truck, they've got it with a grant. I think they're getting a new life squad. I think it's this month. And then all the work's done around the firehouse. That was done by grants. There's money there, and they are working hard to get that money. And they got a guy that's actually writing the grants now instead of trying to do it themselves. And he's been very, very successful at it. And that would be a plus for all of us. And like I said, we're a community. We're not just a township and a town. Let's work as one, because we all will prosper that way. I will volunteer my time.
Thank you. That red
Never
card
enough
comes
time,
up
John.
too quick, doesn't it? Mr. Schaus?
Repeat the question for me one more time.
Is the township doing enough to secure grants as you talk about infrastructure needs in the township?
Well, I'm not real privy on all the things as far as on the grant writing process, but I will say that, I'm very involved with the local fire department, Chief Stowell, and those guys have been writing grants for that type of equipment, which is just awesome. We're getting some great equipment. I've wrote several thousands of dollars worth of grants. With me being in the trustee seat, if they're paying the gentleman now or young lady to do the grant work, that would save a lot, because I can do a tremendous amount of grants. And there are a lot of grants out there. Within me working in the park district, we had purchased parklands, we had purchased swing sets, things of that nature through grants, fishing derbies, which is small, but the other larger parts, such as getting grants for large parcels of lands for parks. Yeah, they're out there. They just need somebody to write them.
All right, thank you. Mr. Schaus, you'll get this next question, please. What should the township be doing to secure, increase economic development in the township?
I just go right back to my plan, 5, 10, 20-year plan. We need to know ahead, because we don't know what's going to happen 5 years here. God forbid if the Bethel village would dissolve, that would fall back onto the township. I don't want to see that happen, but the township needs to be ready in case it does happen. Tate Township, when Amelia dissolved and stuff, they just got a whole bunch of stuff dumped on them. But they were a bigger trustees and bigger than Bethel. But this comes back. We've got to have a plan. You've got to look to be able to bring in structure in, infrastructure in, businesses in, and still keep this farming community the way it is. And that's why I moved out here with my kids, was because of this farming community. But we do need jobs. With the schools being the biggest employers, we need local jobs too as well.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
One of the things we need to do is going around door to door asking everybody for their vote and support for this election. I've been hearing local businesses say about how they have such strict laws against them. They have a business in here, but yet they have to pay an additional fee to put an advertising sign out on their sidewalk in front of their business. I own Ban on Tire. That'd be the same thing as saying, well, if you put a tire banner out there, I have to pay for that advertising. Make it easier, because the advertising is what draws the people in and to the business. Make it more business friendly. And like I said, working with the garden club, the music in the park, the Mount Orr, that's another thing. People's been saying that how they want to get money to build another park. We have an existing park in Bethel. The Tate Township does not need another one, because all that is going to do is, one, it's going to be $1 to $2 million to buy the property, build the property, maintain the property. We've already got a property we're doing that to. So if you take out $1 to $2 million that you would put toward another property and put it toward that would be one heck of a park to bring in more community.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, you'll get, sorry about that. We've talked a lot about infrastructure here tonight. Townships, that's their basic function. However, there are always other issues. So what are the other issues facing the township that you think as a trustee you would have to address?
It's the biggest thing is bringing in more business, bringing in more residential. Like I said, I was talking about the walking path. use the existing path we have like a hub of a wagon wheel. Make phases. If you take a walking path and connect it to Kennedy Ford and bring it in through Tate Run, you know, and make that phase one. One that the people will be walking right past the new dairy bar going in, and then that will be a benefit to them. And then you can just do different things. You can do different restaurants that way. You got to dress up the community to bring more people in. The more people come in, the more businesses come in. And then the more businesses come in, the more taxes we get to support our community. That's what we have to have. You can come up here and try to wave a magic wand, but it comes down to we have to make township and town has to work together. Make the town better. And like I said, work with our local women's club, the garden club and stuff like that. Just to try to get stuff going. It's because we've been spinning our wheels for too many years.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Strauss?
Well, it goes back into hometown business and being ready for, somebody came to the trustees today, said we'd like 200 acres of property with sewage and electric to put in a small manufacturing facility. Do you think the township will be ready for that right now? No, they would not. So that's why I get back into planning ahead. It's a farming community that has not so many farmers now. And again, I don't want to take away that feel of a community, a farming community, a rural community, because again, that's why I'm here. That's why my kids went to schools, and that's the reason why they were so successful here at Bethel. It is for that very reason. There's other important things. We need to keep our eye on the Asian longhorn beetle issue and working with Bethel Council better.
All right, thank you. Mr. Strauss, you'll start with this question. How do you feel about a home for individuals in recovery coming to the township?
That's close to me too. I work in the city of Cincinnati for the city of Cincinnati, Hamilton County in the real estate. And we have a couple of places like that now that we are looking into for that very type of recovery type home, and also for unwed mothers and so on and so forth. They got to be somewhere. I'm sorry, they've got to be somewhere. They've got to be able to help those individuals. The township needs to be very vigilant on it, to keep an eye on it, not just to let it go and forget about it, because they do cause issues in the community, if not kept under watch, and so on and so forth. So I myself know that they have to go somewhere, and the township needs to be involved in that.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
Okay, I am all for that. We have a major drug problem in the United States, period. But it's in Clermont County. It's everywhere. It's in our back doors. So yes, we do need these homes, but the home that's going in right now, it is not structured the right way. You have 8 tenants there that serve 30 days in the system, and they will be bused to this house. They are unsupervised. They supervise themselves. So if they say that they'll supervise themselves, and if one of them brings drugs or alcohol in, that the others will turn them in. And it's like, no. Look at a gang. If a gang does something wrong, do they sit back there? And I don't want to say they're a gang, but they're going to cover each other's backs. And they're not going to, if there was a supervisor there, someone there to keeping an eye on them, making sure, and then they had guidelines and stuff, but it's just free housing is all it is. Because they're supposed to pay $115 a month a week to live there. If they don't pay it, they don't get kicked out because they don't want to put them back out in the streets. That's wrong.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wilson, it's time for our closing statement. You have 2 minutes, please.
Okay, as I've been trying to say here, my family had deep roots in Bethel-Tate for 65 years. I care very much about the community, and I hope I'm getting that point across. My dad and sisters, Sharon Brumagem and Jody Wilson, built the old high school letter sign at the high school, which stood for 38 years. When I was 10 years old, my dad and I built diamond tube block retaining wall, which is still standing there. I used to ride my bicycle up to the ballpark to meet my dad and drag the fields. One time, Dad let me ride the drag, and when we were done, I was a walking dust ball. Well, I got the pleasure to be able to do that same ride to my son when he was at that same age. And I hope someday for my grandkids, because that's why I'm here, is for my grandkids, I hope Joel gets the ability to do that to his son, my grandson, Tobias. My sister Shauna and I were voted Homecoming King and Queen in 1985. My sister Sharon Brummagem was a reporter for the Bethel Journal. My mom also was a business owner at Bethel-Tate for many years. So I love this community, and that's why I'm here. And so when we, the trustees, bring a matter to the people, and the people vote no, I promise I will not put it back upon you and force it upon you for a second and third time. I plan to bring the community together, not divide it. It takes a community to build a community, not 3 trustees, not a town council, everyone. So please, get involved. I will consider it an honor to represent you as a Tate Township trustee, and I will be the people's trustee. If you have any questions, I will be glad to talk to you after this meeting. Just ask my wife. I like to talk. Help me serve you today and give our grandchildren tomorrow. And thank you all for your time and for coming to this meeting. Thank you and have a nice evening. Vote John Wilson for Tate Township trustee.
Thank you. Mr. Schaus?
Well, this is where my heart's at. You know, the school system raised, both of my boys bought a house before they were 20 years old. That's incredible, and that's because of the community, and that's the reason why we came here. You know, we've got a lot of work to do on the local government funding to make our township better, and I pledge to you that I will work towards that. I'm a parks man. John's wrong on it when he talked about millions of dollars to do a park. You know, it can happen much cheaper, and I believe a lot of the people that I spoke to and have come to me said that we would really love a park, Ron. And being a park man, I want to see that happen. I want to see a great township park, not a village park. Burke Park's awesome. I love it. Spent many, many, many times there, but I want to see a township park. Working with the council here in Bethel has not been a very good thing with the trustees in past years, and I want that to change. You know, the trustees went after and worked with Williamsburg on buying a piece of equipment. I'm not sure if they went to Bethel and asked them to join in on that piece of equipment, but they should have if they didn't. And I want to see the communication with council and trustees work. Working together is so much better than working apart. We want to continue keeping the thumb on the Asian longhorn beetle and be informed on what's going on, why the state's invading our area and cutting down our trees. You need to be informed. I think everybody, if you're not, you need to be, and that comes with the trustees. Hometown business, and we need more of it. John spoke of it. John owns a business. I own a small business. And it's important, and it's very important to work and buy from these hometown businesses, because if not, they'll be gone. Open door I am. You want to call and talk to me? Call me. Vote Schaus. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Candidates, thank you. Everyone, the school candidates, the village council candidates, the trustee candidates for an excellent forum this evening. This concludes our time tonight. Thank you for attending and participating. Before we go, I want to thank Bethel-Tate Schools for hosting us tonight for the forums, and also Mr. Burns. I'm not sure where he is, but he was very helpful for us tonight setting everything up. The League of Women Voters is very proud to present this forum for local residents. If you know someone who could not attend tonight, please let them know to watch the forum on the League's Facebook page. Thank you, and have a good evening and a safe trip home.
John, are you related to Frank and Patty Wilson at all?
We think we are. We've never done any looked into it. Both of our families are from around Beattyville, Kentucky. So it's like any little small town. We probably are related.
Right.
Linda knew me. Actually, my sister Jody back here and Darlene both worked at Blue Haven. Linda's known me ever since I was little, and it's weird because a few years ago, Frankie, it's probably been 25 years ago, Frankie saw me up in town. He knew my mom and dad, and then, of course, I grew up.
That
and
time, was he a trustee at that time?
Yeah.
Because I knew he was a trustee
Yeah,
a lot.
yes. And but he came up to me. He says, he goes, "Does anybody ever?" And I said, "Absolutely," because they always ask us if we're married, if we're family. And then he said, "Well, I'll claim you if you claim me." So I call him Uncle Frankie, and
Oh, we all call me Uncle
I actually live two doors down from him, so I see him quite a bit. Frankie